I don't know what it is, but every time I punch the record button, I start yawning. Hi, this is Kelly from Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. Welcome. We are going to be working on a pocket letter today using the Winter's Veil paper pack that I purchased from SPECTRUMARTCREATIONS. Now, this is the first Saturday that we're going to be doing the pocket letter. I'm going to be doing part of it today and part of it next Saturday, and then I'm going to hold off on the rest of the paper pad to do an album in probably November, so that I can maybe put it in the Etsy shop, which I will be opening again soon. So, before I start into this, if you're not familiar with what a pocket letter is, and there goes my yawn again, I'm making a pocket letter from each of the paper pads that I've ordered from Spectrum Art Creations over the years. This one was London is Calling, and it's what was left after I made this journal. And I will link this in the description box below so you can see the flip through of this. So then I had pieces left, and I wanted to do a pocket letter. And basically you use a baseball card page sleeve. You have the pockets that you can do most anything in, and you can even do stuff on the outside, particularly if it's not something you are going to mail. Now, traditionally, these were set up as like pen pal letters, where you put stuff in the pockets, and including a letter to your pen pal. Excuse me. And then you folded it up, and it fit in a standard business-sized envelope. But I decided I want to do it this way so I can put it in a binder and keep pieces of my artwork together. So I have this one from London is Calling. I did this one with the leftovers of a Christmas card kit and added some wintry stuff to the side. You can still see that it could go in an album. And these were all pieces that were cut from the samples that they gave you to put the pieces together. And so I've done this one. And then I have this one from a spring tea collection. But first tea. And I went through and I cut all the fussy cut pieces out. Some of them were already cut out. They were ephemera pieces, chipboard ephemera pieces, and then I added. These were clear white buttons that I purchased from Spectrum Art Creations, and then I colored them with a pink alcohol marker. So there's that one. I need to go through and put names in the backs of what collections I used. This one was a fall collection, and I'm stuck here somewhere. Hang on. I'm stuck. There we go. This was a fall collection that I did, and I added some of the, and that's why it's stuck, because my trim slid. Now the trims are attached with the red line tape that will hold most anything in place, and so I used that to run that down the side. I do need to go through, I can feel it, and if I use my powder punch, then I can go through there and I can cover up that sticky, and it won't stick no more. It'll do that. So I have this one from a fall collection. No clue what it came from. Really do need to mark these, don't I? Then there was this one. And I did this one from a Rest and Revs paper pad. And I added some embellishments like keys and gears. And I did this one to commemorate my husband, one of my favorite people. And life is better with you. And so that commemorated Bob. He likes his cars and his motorcycles. Then I had this one from Alice, from Curiouser and Curiouser with Graphic 45. Every adventure requires a first step. So I did this one. And then I have Steampunk Spells from Graphic 45. And I've got to find the rest of this kit because I'm supposed to be doing a junk journal album using this kit for a friend of mine for Christmas. So I've got to find where that went. And then I have this one, Trick or Treat from Graphic 45. This one was from their Midnight Tales collection. And I've added some Winkastella and some glitter to these and brought these up a little bit. So I have this one, and then I did this medallion that looks like it needs to be re-glued. And then I did a, think of it in a minute. I can't think of what it's called. But you know, the glossy stuff you put on. Glossy accents, there you go. And made a charm to go on here for that one. So those were the ones I've done so far. Now we start with, like I said, a basic baseball card sleeve. Each pocket is 2.5 by 3.5. So that's what we're going to start with today. Now I will tell you, I have fussy cut some items that I might want to include in the pockets. So those are done. And I also remember those when we cut out. Remember these when we cut these out to do the wreath? I have all of these, and we're going to do a border piece with those. Not sure if we're going to get that far today, because we have to start by cutting the 2.5 by 3.5 pieces from this, and I don't want to use this. I have a couple of ideas. So I don't want to cut into these per se. I want to go ahead and just cut into a large piece. And whatever I do in the front, unless I change it, I lost my page. Unless I change it, whatever I do in the front, the reverse paper is going to show in the back, unless I add something different to the back, like I've done this one here. So it's something I want to keep in mind as I'm putting this together. So like if I do this part, see, this would be really cool, except I'd have snowflakes in some, but the snowflakes are going to be chopped off, and then I'm going to have lots of blue space, and then this would be my back. I'm okay with that, I think. I thought about doing this, but I wasn't sure I liked this, because I'm going to be layering things in there, such as our deer. And see, they really don't look good on there, so I'm leaning towards this one. So I'm going to tuck this one to the back. This one, I don't like the shiplap on that, and And this is where having some of your pieces fussy cut out help ahead of time, because then you can audition your papers a little bit. This one I don't want to use because I've already cut out a couple of these. So they'd be there. But I don't want the gray snowflake on the back. So there's that one. So those are going to go to the back. And we have this one all gray to the back. No. This one I think I'm going to hang on to, and I'm going to wind up fussy cutting a little bit of this. So I've got maybe a banner to do just the winter wishes across the block. So we're going to hang on to that one. I really like this, but not for this. I don't want... See, when you do that, then you've got that, and it just really doesn't look all that well. I don't care for it. Now, keep in mind, I've never seen blue deer or green deer, and I don't want the plaid. So there's that one. And we've done this one. This is another one we haven't done, but they disappear into that. And yeah, it's okay, but I'm really leaning towards that snowflake. Really leaning towards that snowflake. Now, I could use this. I could come in here and I could fussy cut out some of those snowflakes, and that would work. So I think this is going to be the one we go with. So let me put these back here out of my way. And let's get this over here. Now, keep in mind, we need to do 2.5 by 3.5, and I think... I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half at 6. No, let's go ahead and cut this one at the 3.5. Because that way the snowflakes can come down this way. And then let's go back and let's cut this one at 3.5. So we could maybe do these snowflakes as a border. Okay? And then we'd cut this one. That's 3.5, so this one would be 2.5 this way. And I'm going to cut this one right here. And I'll show you why in a minute. That way I can flip this around and I can measure this at 2.5. And I make sure I get that single snowflake in there. That seems really wide. really wide. Let me grab my paper really quick. Because I know it's 2.5 by 3.5, but see, it's really wide. And I don't know why. Oh, because I'm doing it at 3, not at 2. So that would help. That would help, huh? And I'm going to come in. If I take that, I think I like that with that there. So yeah, I did 2.5 by 3.5, but I was cutting both of them at 2.5 at 3. That wasn't going to work. Okay, and then let's do this one. This one's already cut. This one's not cut in any direction. Yeah, 3.5, so this one needs to go 2.5. Okay, and then I've got these pieces I can always use when I do the journal, so I've got those. And then these, I wanted this to go, yeah, I think I did that wrong. It'll have to work because it's all I got. Okay, so then these go at 2.5 and 2.5. And I want to come in here and cut this one right there and then flip it so I can get most of that snowflake. Let's cut it over this way and go this way. Just like that. Okay. Now we do have to have 9 of these, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to need 3 of them from just the plain blue. So let's go with the 3.5. Let's see, 2.5 would be 5. That'll work. So let's go 3.5 this way. And then I'm going to have an extra one of these, but that's okay. And then these will go. No, because I messed that one up. Okay, I messed that one up. Let's cut these right. 3.5 by 2.5. There we go. And that one was 3, and it needs to be 3.5 by 2.5. Okay. I think we're good now. I think we got that one figured out. At least we have all our parts and pieces. And that's the important thing. We have all of our parts and pieces. And now I'm going to set these over here. And I have the banners, but I'm not going to use those for this. We're going to save these for the junk journal. So I'm going to stick them back in their pocket over here, so I know where they're at. Now we want to make sure the holes are going to the left. And then I'm probably going to go, let's do this one and this one. Yeah, this one and this one. This one, this one. I like that one in the center. Let's do that one. Let's do this one in the center. And I'm still short one. So what I need to do is get one. I need to cut one more of those. 2.5 by 3.5 and make sure I cut it right this time. Wait a minute, will this one work? I think this one will work. This one's already cut, will work. It will. Okay. This one. I like that, but I also like the idea of bringing in a third one of those. So I'm going to do that. 2.5. Oh, and I'll save that for a pocket. 2.5 by 3.5. Okay, there we go. All the cutting we should have to do for now. Now, if I do that one, then I could do this. I like that it breaks up the snowflakes a little bit, but I want that center through there. So those are good to go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust them. Let me do a sample first and see if I like it. Thinking of dusting the edge with Night and Navy. Just so they'll pop a little bit. What do we think? I think I like that. I think I like that. So let's go ahead, save that one. And I'm going to go ahead, I don't know what's sticking on here. It's making my things stick to my table. Of course, that might be a good thing because then it's not going to move. But I'm going to go ahead and just lightly dust them, just the edge, so that they pop a little bit. Now, the other thing is if you had a continuous piece that went across like this, then you might not want to cut them apart until you saw where they were going to position. And then when you put them in, they look like they belong together. And that's what we're going to work with this one later. I have spent time getting all my business stuff lined up so I can get back to my work schedule, which means I'm spending a couple hours every morning working on crafting. I am also, after a talk with the Postal Service yesterday, I am going to reopen the Etsy shop. Right now, Etsy allows curated kits, not curated items, but curated kits. So I'm going to be ordering in some kit boxes. And I'm also going to be doing, now the junk journal kit boxes will be themed. So you can pick and choose which items, you know, which themes you want to work with. And hopefully you'd have almost everything in there that you need to add to create a junk journal, with the exception of adding some of your own papers and your own cover. But first thing I'm going to be working on are like October Daily and December Daily kits that I can get put in the shop and ready to go for the season, because people are starting to shop for those items now. So that's my progress for next week, is I'll be working on those. I have some really cute ones for Halloween I want to do. That I've been wanting to do. I made a set for myself. They're very intricate. And I will tell you, they're not going to be inexpensive either. They're going to have a little bit higher price tag because there's going to be so much detail in them. But even though they are for October dailies, doesn't mean you can't use them in a junk journal. So keep that in mind. But they'll really give you a... This one's upside down. I want him to go this way. Turning them around to do the inking. I got them going the wrong direction here, so let's redo this. Turn them around. I don't know, I think I kind of like that snowflake sitting in the bottom, but this one, yeah, because we've got that up top. And let's, yeah, I like that one there too. So there are our bases, okay? Now, what we do to these on the inside is totally different. Now, as I said, I have a couple of these trimmed out, and they could fit there, but I think I want to do something that says Winter's Veil across there. See, that hides in the snowflake. That one fits in the snowflake. This would look cool down here because we've still got a little bit of that snow. So let's see how we can trim this down to that 2.5. I don't need to take that all the way out. 2.5. It's going to nip part of my house, but I'm going to get as close to that house as I can. And then I'm going to flip this one. Well, if I do that, I can't see my house. 2.5. And let's line that up. I think that will work. I think that will work. Now, I could come back with the snow and do that there. But I think I want to just tuck it in just like that. Okay. Now, here's where I talked about we could do this. And it's a matter of finding where they're going to go. And see, this this deer's going to have her butt over there. But that's okay. Let's do this. See if we can match this up pretty evenly. And I have a pencil here somewhere. There it is. Because I need to go ahead and make this to where it's sitting inside the pocket. So that's where I want to do that. And that's where I want to do that. Now, I can cut this to where it sticks inside the pocket, but I could also leave it out on the outside. My problem with that is I have all this fussy cut stuff that I didn't cut all the way out. And I don't want to have that out to where it can get torn off. So that's why I'm choosing to put this one on the inside. And this is a great use of scraps. Okay, so now see, I had to cut that to get in there. I could have used my cut that out there, and that's going to go right there. And then we're going to come over here and cut this one right there. And I need to take a little bit more off of his antlers right there. Now, next Saturday, I want to have most of the trim done, and then I'll show you in the video how I put it together. So we can finish this one up next Saturday. The thing with pocket letters, you can make them very plain, or you can do a little bit more intricate. And I always go for the intricate. Go figure. So this one will go in here. And I'm going to lay these out. And she'll go right there. Or he will. And then he'll go right there. And he'll go right here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. And I am going to give them a shadow with this Night of Navy ink, so that they'll pop a little bit. And then now these I'm going to glue flush. I'm not going to dimensionalize them. I'm going to glue them flush. I'm just going to squiggle some glue on here. I've been gluing the pockets to my ephemera booklet. And so I've got some glue residue on the end of my bottle. But we can tuck that right up there. Make that stick. Okay. And then I'm going to come in and do this one. I'm just going to swirl the glue in here. Maybe I should have used that fine tip bottle of the collage medium from Tim Holtz for these finer areas, but we're doing okay here. Try and do this without getting glue all over me, because you know it's glue, so I'm going to wear it. It's a fact. I'm going to glue it. Okay. And then we're going to lay this one in here. Right in there. And see, he is going to lose part of his ear, part of his antler right there. And right there. And I'm trying not to stick to it. And I'm going to pounce that because I've had glue on my fingers. I'm going to pounce that so it doesn't stick in the pocket. And then we're going to glue this one in place, and we will be back here. I'll be back here Monday. I'm working on the December daily album, so I'll be back here Monday. We'll get the whole reinforcers in place, and that'll take care of that. And I want this to be a shorter video today, but we're at 23 minutes, so as you can see, we got work to do. So there's going to do that for the pocket letter using Winter's Veil, and I'll see you back here on Monday. Remember to like, to share, subscribe, and please leave a comment. Creative blessings.